Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you at. The time this recording, this is episode 116 of the Restricted Zone podcast, a two-man crew today. We're excited for this. Kyrie, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, world? Let's go. Let's get to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And man, we're more than excited to have this episode drop for you guys. The NBA draft was just last night. A lot of surprise draft selections, a lot of, and I wouldn't say a lot of trades, but some trades that were definitely shocking. Definitely impactful. We're gonna dive straight into it. This is gonna be a two-part series, of course. We're gonna start with the Western Conference first, and then the Eastern Conference will be dropped at another day. So keep the notifications on, subscribe, like, and leave a comment so you can stay up to date on what's going on with the Restricted Zone podcast. All right, Kyrie, we're gonna dive straight to the Western Conference. We're going all the way to Denver, Colorado, man. Talk to me
Sure.
about Denver's draft selections. Tell me, what's your grade? Do you give it right off the bat? Let's start with that.
Grade I give it. I'm gonna give it a B. Denver one. They seem like they were very active when drafting. They had three picks that I'm looking at right now. Jalen Pickett. Um, they had Hunter Tyson and they had some Julian Strawther from Gonzaga. So a lot of
Yes.
scoring right there. Hunter Tyson, a nice size big. I think around like 6'9", 6'10", can handle create his own shot. This is Julian Strawther, plus 40% 3-point shooter. And Jalen Pickett, I didn't watch much Penn State basketball this year, but his numbers stood out to me quite a bit. 17, 7, and 6 as a 6'4" point guard, and he shot 50% from the field and started a decent clip at from three. So I don't know how they're going to fit all these guys in. I guess they're assuming Bruce Brown may leave a free agency. I think
That's what
I think Eric Gordon has a contract coming up too. But and they got a lot of nice picks. I trust in Denver how they develop their players and how they help their progression. I got to give the pick solid B though. They didn't improve much on defense from what I seen,
right, right,
but
right.
then like I kind of wanted them to, but they got some scores. I mean, they got some guys that can really shoot the ball. So
I'm right there with you, man. I love the selection, especially the Julian Starter from Gonzaga, and definitely I like Hunter Tyson from Clemson. I definitely thought those are. Listen, the Nuggets know how to draft. Look, they won the NBA championship just because of the moves they made within the draft, also through trading for other players. So Julian Starter, he's a great cutter. He's going to be a great pick at number 25 to get him there. I like the pick a lot. I'm sure he could come in, step in, and knock shots because that's what they're going to need him to do. So I'm all for it. So the grade you get the Nuggets is an A,
I gave them
right?
a pick.
A B. So I'm gonna give him an A. I'm gonna give him an A just because I like the junior starter pick that much. I think he fits with the game. So let's slide over to the
Right.
next team in the division. We're gonna go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, listen, Kyrie, give me your thoughts on this one because I was a little bit shocked with the draft selections.
hmm
I don't. Just give me your thoughts on that, on why you think it was a good pick for them, or
So
you maybe
Leonard Miller at 33 one. Leonard Miller slid a lot to me in my opinion.
right.
I made it known here. I thought he was a lottery talent, if not just right outside of it.
Thought he
Put
was.
him, put him about 17, 18, and 10 in the G League. He has a real irky jerky type of game, which might I feel like probably like alerted or kind of scared away some scouts. And
Yeah.
he has that unorthodox like shooting form that it's weird to look at. He doesn't hit it at a high clip. But coming to the NBA, we've seen a lot of guys improve their jump shots and turn into lethal outside shooters. I mean, we look at Brooke Lopez in like what year, like 16, 17, I don't even know, becoming a lethal outside jump shooter. So outside of that, he's a very good rebounder. He could grab the ball and take it in transition. Is a very good ball handler at 6'11". He's very comfortable handling the ball. Just very left-handed dominant. But for the Minnesota Timberwolves, the fit here is kind of concerning to me because one, I think Nas Reed comes back in free agency, and of course
Right.
you got Cat and Gobert, that they pretty much seem committed to keeping. So I'm not really sure if where Leonard Miller fits in right off the bat. If Nas decides to go somewhere and make his money somewhere else and play for more of a contender, it's something I could definitely see happening as well. Then maybe let Miller crack that rotation more, get some more minutes, but that's yet to be seen. But I trusted him as an individual player to find his way in the league. And I think at 33, it's considered a steal in my book anyway. So I got to give the Minnesota Timberwolves a B plus for that one right there.
And I'm right there with you. I'm a piggyback off that. I was surprised he slid all the way to the second round. I thought he was the first round talent. I thought he was lottery talent as well. I thought if not OKC picking him up
And,
at 12.
and not to cut you off, Colin, but you know what's
Yeah.
crazy? Because he was eligible to enter last year's draft too, and there was a lot of heat, a lot of talk coming in towards the end of the like the draft and workout process that he could possibly like a first round pick. But it kind of fluctuated, and I was glad he went to G League Ignite and decided to wait a year.
Mm,
And he played well again, 18-10, and was an integral part of that G League Ignite team.
he sure
But
was.
I I don't know. It's still weird how he fell to me. It fell to the second round to me, and teams were willing to take a bite on him.
Well, it wasn't reported. It wasn't any medical concerns that was reported, at least to my knowledge, at least. So
Right.
I don't know if it's that,
Like
but
I said,
hey,
I think his unorthodox play style. That's what I honestly think it is.
I guess that would have the factor. Plus the fact that, and then me personally, I'm gonna give this really a B minus. Man, they got a lot of fours on Minnesota. Where do you give time for Leonard Miller? I don't think Jaden McDaniels is still there. I believe they got. Well, let me see. Could he carve a move?
That's another one. Jaden McDaniels too. Well, he could play the wing too. He's very versatile.
I think maybe because the Timberwolves got a lot of pieces, but I think maybe he could. Like I said, it's early in the offseason. They might make some trades. They might
Right.
clean up the roster. But right now, as of now, with the roster construction with the Wolves, I'm gonna give him a B minus. Jalen Clark from UCLA. Not really sure what the expectations is for him.
Yeah, Jalen Clark was surprising to me too. He's somebody I thought should have stayed back here, even though he had a very good freshman season before I believe he got hurt.
He did.
He got hurt. But and that surprisingly, I mean, funny enough, not funny, but like weirdly enough, allowed Amari Bailey to kind of enter his name into this draft and make himself stand up. You know.
That's crazy. We'll talk about him when we do the Eastern Conference because I thought he's another one of those guys. He should have just came back. But hey, he got drafted. So hey, I guess it paid off for him. With that, we're gonna stay in the Northwest Division. We're gonna go to Minnesota. We're going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma City Thunder, man. Let me go right off the bat. I'm gonna give this an A, man. I'm gonna give this an A.
Definitely gotta give it an
A. Man, can I just start off with just the potential?
Go ahead, bro. You Kentucky boy when they traded up for him.
They traded, so that tells you a lot. That tells you a lot. They traded up for him.
Talk to me. What you think?
And I was shocked. I didn't think OKC would be the one to grab him because you gotta think they got Trey Man as the backup point guard. They got a lot of guards in OKC.
He's kind of a combo guard.
They got a lot of guards. They got Jalen Williams. You got Dortz. Excuse me, I said Luol Deng. Dortz. But he's really a 3. He can play the 2. Depends on how you utilize them. But I think another guard on there I completely missed it. They got a lot of guards, but I think Grayson Wallace is one of those guys. He can step in and really contribute. Isaiah Joe, I knew I was to get another one, so they got a lot of guards that can step in. But I think Grayson Wallace can carve out a role for himself. Go ahead, Kyrie, swing it to you, man.
Before I go ahead, tell me what you think about Keontae Johnson in the second round too.
I actually like the pick. I think the reason why he fell is maybe there's still some concerns over, it hasn't been reported yet because he was perfectly fine. He played well in college basketball. He played well in the Kansas State tournament. Yeah. So, I just feel like him sliding, maybe he would have been a little bit higher, maybe in the early second rounds. But, hey, OKC just know what they're doing when they're drafting guys, man. I'm never doubting Sam Presti or the scouting or the coach. I'm not doubting them at all. So, when they make the draft picks, they do their intense research. I actually read something about Casey Wallace. Sam Presti actually went to one of the games they had lost to Michigan State in double overtime. And it was all the little stuff that he saw Casey Wallace did that was like, oh, this kid's a star. He does all the little stuff, the intangibles, the on ball, the lane, disrupting the lanes, and it's all the little things you want. And then he's just long, 6'4", long arms. It's like 6'9". He's got the strength. Definitely a great guard. I think he's one of those guys that could probably start at the 1, put Shea at the 2, wherever the OKC feel comfortable, and then you could put Josh Giddey at the 3. Josh Giddey is 6'8", 6'7". Yeah, he can slide to the 3.
You still entertain him. Maybe if you want to have Kayshawn start off the bench as like a 6-man card, you got Jalen Williams there still.
Exactly.
They got a lot of work with because
Exactly.
it's a lot of guards. They differentiate a lot in height. Like Shea and Giddy like 6'7", 6'8" apiece. Kayshawn 6'4". Jalen Williams about 6'6", 6'7" with long
He's
arms.
6'6". Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's tough,
and
man.
so a lot like all like that length on the perimeter, even though they might not, especially in Giddy case, might not be the best at like moving their feet. They still got a lot of length. But that's where
So
Kayshawn Wallace comes in as a point of attack defender. That's something they I didn't really notice it at first, but that's something I felt like they really needed and really addressed as a need. Because
he's tough.
Kayshawn Wallace, like you said, he does a lot of the little things, and he has those long arms and great anticipation skills, especially when it comes to screen navigation. So I definitely love the pick. I love the fact I agree. I love the fact that they traded up for him because a lot of people had Kayshawn Wallace falling out of the lottery, which was
Which is
surprising me.
crazy. It's
It was
ridiculous.
definitely was crazy. He was a top 10, top 12 pick to me the entire time.
Seeing what some of the
But
people had before him was crazier too. It was like, excuse me?
yeah. But there's also things you gotta hope translate. You gotta hope his jumper, especially off the dribble, translates. You want to see if his playmaking skills can expand a little bit more, if his vision can expand a little bit more.
Right.
But overall, very solid prospect, a very, very safe pick. I got to give it an A because I also love Keontae Johnson too, with some backup depth. Him and Jalen Williams, the other Jay Will, not J
J
Dub.
J J Dub.
Jay Will.
J Will with the captions for Shay.
He's also very good and very versatile. About 6'8", I think he's about 6'8", 6'9". He can shoot it from the outside a little bit, but is a great and relentless rebounder. Keontae Johnson's the same way, even though he shoots the ball a lot better, shot from a 40% clip from deep. But he's a
Mm,
very good finisher too, very athletic. And I
right.
think that's still here in the second round. What pick did he go here?
He went
Um,
50.
50. Yep, definitely a steal right there. So I got to give Oklahoma City an A right there.
OKC always does well in the draft, man. I'm not surprised. Now, I will say this: every Kentucky guard, in Casey Wise, has a jump shot. His jump shot is not an issue. Believe me
He
when I
does.
say that.
He just didn't show it off a lot.
Because
That's
Cal's
the thing.
offense. So, and he said a little bit about that during the draft night, but I have full confidence in Kentucky guards. They will excel. They just got to get the chance to really show that. Now we fly over to Utah Jazz, man. Utah Jazz, and man, I gotta say their draft selection. You know what, Carl? I'm gonna let you go ahead first. Talk to me about it.
It surprised me. It surprised me. Me personally, I kind of felt like it was a little dig or a little slight towards the Dallas Mavericks. I feel like they knew the Dallas Mavericks wanted them,
Right, because
and
I like it though.
and at the same time, I think in that range, they didn't really see the point guard available that they wanted. Even though Kayshawn was still there because that was number 9.
Kayshawn was still there. That's the crazy
I
part.
can't even say that Kayshawn was still there. So I don't know what I don't know. The only other thing that I could imagine is Lauri Markkanen's contract comes up in 2025.
Right.
And if you're not confident in him staying, I mean Taylor Hendricks is the perfect guy to have up in that front line next to Walker Kessler because he can spread the floor. He's
Yeah.
another great shot blocker and another good rebound. That'd be a real twin towers right there, and a very versatile one
Possibly.
too. Very
Possibly.
versatile one too. Both great live threats, and they both just have really good feel for the game already. So if Utah's plans are, if they're just really looking at it as Lauri Markkanen is going to be with us for these 2 years, and I don't see why he wouldn't resign because he's the man there. He had a very very good season there, and I feel like
Yeah.
they could do a lot to build around him and make a very good team around him. But again, not really addressing your point guard needs so much in this draft kind of hurts. We got to see what they do in free agency. But the Taylor Hendricks pick it interested me. But if it goes down that kind of theory that I'm talking about, whereas like I said, Laurie leaves after 2 years, and that just leaves him and
Right.
Walker as their front line men, I really like that. But their other pick also interested me too, and Bryce Sensabaugh, who started off really hot in Ohio State. He kind of
Definitely fell off.
it definitely fell off. But his game is kind of weird too because about 6'7", he's built like a truck, but he has such great scoring instincts and has a nice good handle and he's very good at getting to his spots even though he's not really that great at moving. He's not really that fast. So that pick interested me too. I guess it'll be for some scoring depth off the bench. Because he's definitely not going to provide you any defense.
Sure.
But it, it was a very interesting pick by the Jazz. I had a hard time coming up with a grade with them, but I gotta go with like a C plus maybe. I
Really?
kind of maybe a B minus just for the simple fact that Taylor Hendricks is so good.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, me personally, so Taylor Hendricks, I feel like with that potential, I mean, you would have to think maybe that's why the contract looming for Larry Marketing.
uh-huh.
That's what made him. So I listen to me. I like Taylor Hendricks a lot. He was in my lottery. I like
Right.
him a lot. I just didn't think Utah would be the one to grab him. I thought, well, they didn't necessarily. Well, they could have drafted a guard too, and they did it with Keontae George. He's still at 16. I think was a nice pickup for them. Just Jordan Clarkson, you don't know if he wants to
Yeah,
really
I forgot to mention that one too.
so Utah really going to a whole rebuilding mode with this draft
Hmm.
right here. So I like Taylor Hendricks, Keontae, and Bryce. I mean, Utah Jazz probably had the top 5 draft in my opinion in terms of what's going on with them. Jazz definitely came out with a bright smile on their faces. Um,
Right.
can't wait
Yeah,
to
I
see
can
what
see
they
why you
do.
said that. I definitely forgot to mention the Keontae George one. I think he could fit in there. Especially since Jordan Clarkson, like you mentioned, has a contract looming too, can fit in there as a spark plug scorer because he even though it wasn't very offensive at Baylor,
Ah,
he has very good handle. He's very good at creating space and get his jumper off and elevating and getting his shot over defenders. And I
ah,
can see that. I can definitely see that translating to the A. Um, he the one thing I want to see improve too, which I feel like could bring him to the next level, is improving that playmaking ability, kind of like we see how Jamal Murray has over the years.
fair.
Improving that playmaking ability and finding guys, improving be able to operate in that pick and roll. I think that'll make him much more valuable to the Utah Jazz. So that was a good shout out right there.
Oh, definitely, man. I definitely love the Utah Jazz draft selection. And we go to the
And
final. Oh
not
yeah, go ahead.
not not to mention another. I've been thinking about it too. Another reason why he might have shot bad at Baylor, because I didn't catch a lot of their games this season.
Of
But another
course,
reason he might have shot bad at Baylor is because one, Baylor's not a program that really promotes just one player.
that's
They
true.
have they play together as a squad, and
They do.
when they're good and when they're like they have notoriety, it's because of
Mhm.
multiple players.
No,
So
no,
it's
you're
not
right.
it's really
You're
rare
right.
for a guy to go there and be a one and done and put up like 20 21 points a game. That's just not how they roll.
It's not.
So
And
that
it's
might
fine. That type of
yeah.
basketball goes far. You know,
Hmm.
that type of
Nevertheless,
basketball always
I
goes far.
always respect guys that challenge themselves to go to programs like that where they're not getting the
Thank
biggest
you.
recruit. Like Kate Cunningham, of course, going to Oklahoma State, even though he has some ties there already. You
Yeah,
gotta appreciate it anyway.
you gotta appreciate it. Shit,
Hmm.
you gotta appreciate it. Cuss might have to edit that out. If not, that's fine too. Part of the program. Let's get to the last team in the Northwest Division, man. And I gotta say, I was blowing up your phone, man.
Hmm.
Well, Charlotte Hornets. We'll talk about that in another episode. But man, Portland Trailblazers got to be the second. Now let me see. If I break this down to what I think, they're definitely in the top 3 in terms of win. I mean, you listen, just School Henderson itself.
Hmm.
Chris Murray, just a valuable plug-in. I
Yo,
don't
I
like him going to
love that pick
Portland.
for them. I love
No,
that
but you
pick.
know why I got a problem with it, Kyrie? Is because they got so many forwards and power forwards. So now I'm thinking, you trading one of those guys? Someone's got to move if you really value this
Yeah,
kid's potential at 23rd pick in the first round. Then you got
right.
Rainier Rupert from France. I love him. One of those international
Hmm.
guys. Don't be
That's
surprised
another good one.
if he turns some heads. Portland nailed his draft. Go ahead, Kyrie. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna start from the bottom up. Rayon Rupert, he was somebody that I thought was was a first round guy too. He's very
Yeah.
raw as well. He played in the French league. But he's very wiry. Has long arms and is a very good defender. He's good at making plays in transition. He's got to work on that jump shot and his ability to create and create space for himself. But he's a very nice prospect, and I like the fact that they scooped him up in the second round. Um, who? I'm blanking right here. Who was the other one? But who was the one? Chris Murray. I'm
Uh,
sorry, Chris Murray.
Chris Murray, yeah.
I actually really like it, bro. I actually really like it because I don't see Jeremy Grant being there long term, and
Oh yeah,
I honestly see like a big roster haul, and an- and because of that, even if they don't land like a big time star, like the pair with Dame, which seems like they want to do,
right.
I think certain guys leave, and and at least Portland just being mediocre for a while still. And with that, we have been seeing the growth of some younger guys like Anthony Simons throughout this time that they haven't been too good. Shaden Sharp last season was very good as a rookie, so
Sure was.
I can see a Chris Murray as a stretch forward, a pretty good defender and a guy that just has a translatable skill set from day one. Finding his niche in the Portland Trailblazers roster, just like Keegan did in Sacramento.
That's right.
Then finally we get to Scoot, man, and I even though I had Scoot going to number two to the Hornets just simply because I thought it just made the most sense for them. I really wanted to see Scoot in a Portland Trailblazers jersey, and I feel like
And
I'd
get
be more
Dame the hell
excited.
out of there.
I'd be more excited if Dame would if Dame was gone. But because of that, it's kind of awkward now where
You got the
we don't know
future,
what to expect.
and you
Exactly.
got the present.
We don't know what to expect, and we just really just have to wait till free agency to see what moves they make because they didn't outside of draft, they didn't really do anything on draft night. So as far as like trades or making moves or anything like that, so I don't know, man. I still got to give the pick an A just because of the depth and the young talent that you picked up.
Oh, Portland definitely one
And
of the top three winners in his draft, in my opinion.
hmm
Definitely. Uh,
hmm
and,
and
and,
you
and,
pick up
and
two solid defenders after coming off as being one of the worst defensive teams in the
of
league.
course.
Yeah, I think I give them like a B plus A.
And then with the school Henderson, I feel like Damian has to leave. I'm sorry, Portland fans. You listen to this. Dame has to leave. You don't draft a guy like
Just
Scoot
throw the
Henderson.
band-aid off.
You don't draft a guy like him and who would have gone number one in next year's draft or the year before. You don't just have him. And then you got to think if you're gonna trade Dame, Anthony Simmons might have to get traded because I like the backcourt of School and Shaden Sharp 1 and 2, super hyper talented athletic guards that both. Obviously, School has to work on his jump shot, but you've been working with Steph. I'm not really gonna be too shocked, and definitely not gonna have too much doubt on that. I think he's you just gotta wait and see. But
Yeah, but
him and Shaden Sharp,
for the time being, Shaden showed to be a sniper. Like his jump shot translated a lot better than I thought it would. To be honest with you.
Shaden and Scoop, man, I like that. Listen, you trade Anthony because if you trade Dame, you're gonna take on that contract and they're gonna want some more. So you
Hmm
gotta trade Anthony. And Simmons gotta get traded too. I wouldn't want to if you could keep him somehow, try to, but more than likely
Yeah,
a team's gonna ask for him. Which I'm the Portland. I'm not mad. You get Scoot and Shaden Sharp. I'm Portland. I'm excited, man. I'm
yeah.
way too excited.
I don't really want them to trade Ant Thomas because I feel like if Dame were to leave a core of him at the two, I feel like you could move Shaden to the three, honestly, because Shaden's like what 6'7".
He's
His
6'6",
frame
6'7".
his frame's only gonna get stronger too. So I feel like you could have him at the three if it because his defense is something also that impressed me in spurts during the season as well. How focused he was.
Right.
I could see him playing some three, and you of course you got Scoot at the one. I definitely they're all around the same timeline because every Simons was drafted back in 2018, but he's still pretty young. So I could definitely see this being
That's 5 years.
nice nucleus.
5 years into the league. Yeah,
Yeah, and
but
he seems to. I mean, he's been around a little bit longer, so he's got some things he could teach them.
eh, I like School and Shaden more. I just think that. But if you can't keep Simmons, I don't disagree with you. But that backcourt of Shaden and School, nah,
Hmm
that's a deadly bet. That's one of the backcourt that keep Portland in the competition. Or at least
Yeah,
they'll be in rebuild for the next. Once they hit their stride and finally maximize their potential, yeah, they'll be in the playoffs for many many years. But
it
let's
just it just don't really. I'm sorry,
no go no go ahead, man.
last point before we move on, but it just doesn't make any sense to me seeing the strides Ant's made since he's came into the league as a fifth year high school senior, and It was like struggling early on, struggling to find rotation minutes consistently. And he
Yeah.
grinded and worked on his game and worked on his body and has become a very good scorer in this league. So I would just hate that to see that go to waste from their organization.
But you know how it goes when you want to trade away. You know, someone's got to give. The team's gonna demand something.
Mm-hmm.
But the team's not really in a position to demand when they're the ones trading Dame. So who knows? But listen,
Right.
I'm excited for Portland. They got to deal with the current situation. You got the future and you got the present conflicting with each other. So it's all about what you do with that. With that being said, we move on to the next division, the Western Conference. We move to the Pacific Division. We're going to kick it off with the Sacramento Kings. Man, Kobe Jones from Xavier and Jalen Slauson from Furman. I like Kobe Jones. I think he's one of those guys. He's an analytics guy. Not analytics per if you're an analytics guy, you look at him, you look at his stats, you're a fanboy of him. You know, that's for the
Mm-hmm.
analytical guys. I think he's one of those guys going to continue to develop. I think the Kings got a nice organization now from top to bottom now.
Right.
To development. They're not the Sacramento Kings used to laugh at years and years, decades before. This is actually a stabilized structure with a lot of stability with the Sacramento Kings. So I think prospects shouldn't be trying to run away from the Kings at this point. They should be embraceful and glad to be a Sacramento King. What's your thoughts on these two guys, man?
Yeah, real quick, they went low key here. They went underground here. I mean, Kobe. I haven't watched much from these any of these guys except for Slauson, who we seen, of course. Furman had that upset win in the tourney, and then he was
Right.
playing very well. Um, One, I like the Slauson pick because he's a mature rookie. He's been around. He's been in college for a while. He's had a track record of playing well and being a good scorer and being a good presence down low as a kind of like a good post player, post wing in a way.
Yeah.
And it kind of fits in with their picking Keegan, and I believe Keegan was a junior when he came out. Just his maturity, his approach to the game, and just how easy he. Like these older guys gotta stop being slept on, man. I've been saying I always say, I've been saying it for a while, but a guy
Yeah.
being 21, 22 years old, 22, 20, maybe even 23 years old coming into the draft necessary isn't always
Yeah.
necessarily an downfall. It doesn't necessarily mean their ceiling is lower because of their age. Guys get better at different points throughout their career, and it definitely
Right.
depends on the fit with that team. So, like you said, with Sacramento finally showing that they could develop some talent, I like that pick right there. And with Kobe Jones, he's just a straight up hooper. He's just a straight up hooper, and I think coming in from day one, he's gonna be able to score and make plays out of the pick and roll and play make well as well. So I gotta give it a B plus because they did well with what they're able to work with. I kind of wanted to see them another big since they lost with Sean Holmes.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they lost with Sean Holmes to Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of wanted to see him get like another big, but he still got free agency.
Still got free agency. We gotta wait to see what the Kings do. I'm gonna give the Kings a B. I just want to see what Kobe Jones how he fits in the Kings roster. I'm guessing this could be some pieces that might not resign. Harrison Barnes is still a questionable decision. I'm still upset with Harrison Barnes. He took two of the biggest shots in the series and missed both of them.
Hmm.
Wide open shots, absolutely disgusting. We're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna slide over to the next team to the Pacific Division, and we're gonna talk the Phoenix Suns. Well, they only had one draft selection at 52, but the greatest addition this so far in the offseason is Bradley Beal. Uh, so we could touch on the little Bradley Beal and then touch on the Tamari Camera
Um,
from Dayton.
I'll tell you straight up, I don't know nothing about bro from Dayton. I ain't watching no Dayton this year.
I haven't
Um,
watched Dayton at all,
man, I'll make
but
sure to watch the tape and tune in. Though he might be a gem, you never know. But
I I will say this though. In terms of the camera, he seems to develop the outside shot though. At least from what I knew reading the scouting report about him earlier in the season, he wasn't known for his jumper. And then he
mhm.
developed that the year. I think the year before he wasn't known for his jumper. He was kind of more of a slasher, you know. Then he developed more of an outside shot, and I guess that worked to his advantage because I guess the Clippers saw what he saw in him and took him at the 52nd pick.
Mhm.
But the Suns got Bradley Beal, so I guess that makes up for whatever draft selection they didn't pick. So, hey, can't
Yeah,
complain.
I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm just not.
You're not a huge fan of Bradley Beal, man.
I'm not him being the Phoenix. No, I mean, I feel like that definitely one means that Devin Booker is going to run the one, which I like seeing. I'm not going to lie, I like seeing that.
Right. He could have like a James Harden type season when he made that transition to being the point guard.
It just give me Brooklyn Net vibes. It just give me like the Harden, Kyrie, KD, Brooklyn Net vibes. Like,
I'll take a Booker.
I don't expect KD to play more than 55 games. Bradley Beal these past couple years has just been banged up and nicked up all throughout each season.
That's true.
I just feel like they're not all going to be healthy together. Devin Booker is pretty hardy. I'll give him that. Devin Booker is usually available, but I just don't see them all being together and all being healthy when it comes down to it most in the playoffs. They might get you they'll probably get you 60 wins this season, and just off of pure talent alone. But I don't see it when it comes down to when it comes down to playoff times and grounded out series. I mean, you might be playing guys like the Nuggets again. Yeah, you never know, could be upgraded. I don't really trust it. I gotta see. They gotta prove me wrong.
Hey, I'm with you on the waiting to believe it. You know, you gotta wait and see the results. And plus they don't have that much cash space. We don't know what moves they'll make in the off season, but we just gotta wait and stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout for that episode when we talk about the free agency too. Leave a look, leave the like, leave a subscribe and comment, turn on post notifications to be on the lookout for that. With that being said, we go on to the Los Angeles Clippers. Man, Kobe Brown and Jordan Miller. I like Kobe Brown. I thought he was a first rounder. He was the last pick in the first round. So, hey, at least he made it to the first round, got a guaranteed contract. I liked him from Missouri. You know, we played him a couple of times. He played well. You know, it's crazy. A lot of scouts had him in the 40 and 50 range. I thought he was a first round. And, you know, I guess, you know what you could say, time will tell if he goes up to that pick as being a first rounder. A lot of people didn't have him being a first rounder. So what's your thoughts on Kobe Brown and Jordan Miller from Miami? I definitely love him. Another older guy, like you just talked about, older guys. But he's a 3-and-D type of guy. Low ceiling, but he could be a role player that could fill in and do what he needs to get done. So what's your thoughts on those two guys?
Well, see, when it comes to the Clippers, especially if they decide, because you know there's been rumors of them possibly breaking up the tandem with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But if it does not happen, they primarily have a vet heavy rotation, and I don't see either one of these guys possibly, if that's the case, getting a whole bunch of minutes like to begin with, because we've seen guys like Brandon Boston like play well like in spurts and even in going to G League and go crazy and have a hard time cracking consistent minutes within the Clippers offense. It's just because they got so many like veteran guys and guys that are already established. Even Bones Highland, when he came over, they got rushed at the same time. It was hard for him to get consistent minutes. So with a guy like Kobe Brown, who I like his skill set, I like his physicality, I like how athletic he is and his slashing ability, but I don't think he has the really go-to, I guess, skill. I don't know. I don't think he has the go-to really like skill set he can rely on,
right?
That can help him crack rotation minutes early in his Clippers career, because it's just going to be hard to do. And excuse me, same thing with both from out of Miami. Jordan Miller, I don't think, even though he can shoot, I just don't see it being a lot of minutes available for either one of these guys. So I'm just gonna get the pick a C.
A pick a C.
Okay. It just wasn't much. It just wasn't much they could really work with, in my opinion. Because again, they run a very veteran heavy rotation.
Well, I'm excited for to see what the Clippers do on. There's been some Paul George trade rumors. We don't know what Kawhi got in his bag. The quiet guy who never could figure out what he has on his mind. So you don't know what he got planned. The Clippers are going to be an interesting team to watch over the offseason, especially in the free agency, to see what kind of moves they make or who they trade for potentially. So just be on the lookout for what they do in the offseason. But with that, man, we go to the next team, the next California team. We've been to so many teams So many places in California, man. You getting a little tired of California? I'm getting a little tired of it, man.
Bro, me too. I can't. I'm ready for the Easter Conference episode next episode, man.
All right, but we still in Cali though, man. So we in Golden State, Golden State Warriors. Listen, they made a lot of moves. One, they traded Jordan Poole. I think that was the inventable.
That was crazy.
It was either him or Draymond Green. That's why Draymond opted out of his contract. It was kind of more of a test to see, testing the Warriors. Who you guys are gonna choose? You guys are gonna choose me, the heart and soul of the team, or are you gonna choose for this inefficient Jack?
But
I like
at the same time, it's a big move to go ahead to re-sign Draymond because he hits the salary cap hard, and
he really does.
if he doesn't end up re-signing, I mean, you save yourself a lot of money.
Sure do. But will
Yeah.
Steph and Clay agree with that? And that's the difference.
Right.
And not only that, you have to cater to Curry's whims. Well, I mean, I don't know that the Warriors have to necessarily cater, or but hey, he is Curry. He still averaged what 28, 27 this past season. So he's playing out of his mind. So I feel like the Warriors, and so that's why they picked up Brandon. I have such a hard time pronouncing his last name.
I think it's called Podziemski.
Podziemski from Santa Clara, and he's got one of those herky jerky type move sets, man. Like he kind of remind me of Markel Grant when in Washington with that little herky jerky. He looks slow, but he's really moving fast. He's moving fast, but he's moving slow. He's got that playing style, and I think that's gonna fit well with the Golden State Warriors. I love Trice Jackson Davis falling all the way down to Indiana. I mean, coming from all the way from Indiana. Golden State got some nice pieces, but I'm gonna give them just a B minus. Just give me your thoughts on that, though.
Wait, why just a B minus though? I'm curious.
They could have had got someone other than. I was honestly feeling they could have got a better forward than Trice Jackson Davis at that. I mean, hell, the undrafted list was full of guys. I'm thinking to myself, man, you guys could have scoop this guy up. Like you could have picked up. I don't want to say Drew Timmy. You could have picked up Oscar Sheway, but his limitations on the defensive end definitely was what hurted him because it was nothing. It was offensive limitations as well. But I felt for the Warriors, what they're looking for, Oscar wouldn't fit there. Maybe I might have to come back to that, but I'm gonna give him a B minus though.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with the grade or anything. I do disagree with Trey Jackson Davis though on his fit because he even though he's been mocked late in the second round for a while now, I always thought highly of him. I thought higher of him. I thought he could be at least a late first, early second. But and it's because he expanded his game. He got better in a lot of aspects. He became a better passer. He became a better ball handler. He showed flashes of the jump shot a little bit and some touch and more touch around the rim, and not just to be a dunker. Even though he had some crazy dunks this season, he showed more to to be more rim runner, like pick and roll, like slasher type of big. So I honestly like that. Even though they do have a lot of young forwards now, like in Jonathan Kuminga, they got Patrick Baldwin last season.
That's true.
So I would lean towards kind of more of a B minus grade there because I don't know necessarily how he's going to match up there. But what kind of makes up for that is their pick at 19 of Brandon Podziemski, who kind of went a little high for me. Like you said, he does kind of have that herky jerky, like awkward type of unorthodox type of play style, kind of like we was talking about with Brandon Miller. But at the same time, he gets to a bucket, and he had himself a strong combine showing where he showed like to be very comfortable, handling the ball in transition and making lead passes and getting to the rim. He showed to be very efficient at getting to the rim in certain points.
Sure
He's a good outside jump shooter, especially off the dribble. So I like it for Golden State because it gives them a little pop and a little bit of what you're missing in Jordan Poole since he's gone now. But since he doesn't have the same kind of the craftiness or maybe some would say talent as Jordan Poole, he'd be a little more easier to rein in and have play within your that Golden State offense and that Golden State type of system. So I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Okay. Can't wait to see what they do, actually, man. And we gotta go to the most prominent California team in California basketball history, the Los Angeles Lakers, man. They was looking to shop this pick around before the draft
Mm-hmm.
in the weeks before, but I think they got great value in the picks that they drafted with Jalen Hood, Shafino from Indiana, and Maxwell Lewis from Pepperdine University. Man, if
I
D'Lo does
love it.
decide, what'd you say?
No, I was just saying I love it.
Oh man, I just don't know if Bron's is too keen on playing rookie. Bron never really does. Bron have an issue playing with rookies? I don't think Bron really
Bro,
has an issue playing with rookies.
he's not going to be there for that long. You got to at this point. You playing for your future after play post Bron, in my
Because
opinion.
Bron's trying to get a chip though. I
Yeah,
like these rookies. They definitely know.
and that's cool. But we see him play with young Austin Reeves was just a rookie last year.
Also, that's hillbilly Kobe right there. But before we get into
He
that,
was just he was just a rookie last year. We seen early in the season Max Christie, a rookie, was getting sunburn, and and
nah.
and, and it seemed like LeBron embraced stuff like that. I don't really mind it.
Listen, I like it too. Listen, I'm all for it. Give me your thoughts on the Lakers draft selection.
So Jalen Hood at what was that 17? I
Yeah.
really like that one because Jalen Hood was definitely a lottery talent. I mean, he followed right. He followed in his projected range. It was anywhere from like late lottery to about 17, 18, close to 20. But I really like this for him because one, he has a very patient play style, but at the same time can speed it up if that makes any sense. Like when he comes to the pick and roll, he's so good at hesitations and slowing the game and slowing things down and letting the play develop and on his time. And then at the same time in transition, he's such a good passer and has such a good vision and makes such good reads. I see him fitting in right with the Lakers who like to get up and down. And he has a nice outside 3 point jump shot. So and at the same time, he's going to be around a bunch of vets and a bunch of already established players where his weakness as a shot creator, not in the mid range, but from the outside. His weakness, as far as getting downhill and getting to the lane where he's not very good at, and he's not in finishing, he's not very good at. Those he got to mask up because he doesn't have to do that as much. If the Lakers do play him a little more than we expect to, um, because again they have a veteran roster too. But as far as like down the line, this is very good talent to have. This is very good upside to have because I'm a big fan of Jalen Hood Shafino. Um, as
I
far
love it for the Lakers.
as far as the second round pick, Maxwell Lewis, that's another a big sleeper of mine out of Pepperdine. He reminds me so much of Trey Murphy. About 6'8", 6'9". He has that long, wiry frame, but even though it tailed off towards the end of the season, he has a very nice jump shot and shoots it at a consistent clip. And so a little different than Trey Murphy. He has a good one two. He can take a couple dribbles and create his own space from the perimeter at times. And at the same time, he's very athletic like Trey. And he's good at slashing and getting to the rim. It's just the in between game with him when it comes to handling the ball and trying to create his own shot, like in the mid range and stuff like that. That's where he kind of struggles at. But again, with the Lakers and say they have injuries and stuff like that, just like any team does, and they have to throw the rookies in there, they have some translatable skills that can help keep the Lakers, a team like the Lakers afloat, who deals with injuries to LeBron all the time, injuries to Anthony Davis all the time. So you need guys like this that are going to give you a jolt of energy and keep that momentum when those guys are out or hurting.
And I think the Lakers definitely. I feel like. Can you hear me, Kyrie? Am I
Yeah, I
clear?
can hear you. Yep, I can hear
Gotcha.
you.
So I really feel like they definitely made some nice selections. Look, like I said, they've been looking at trades pick for a minute, and I think they made some nice pickups in terms of this draft. I think the Lakers made a couple of moves, so
Yeah,
I like the
man. Hey,
Lakers pick. Yeah,
I
I
give
give
him an
them.
A plus. I give him an A plus actually. I give him an A plus.
That's fair. That's completely fair. I don't disagree with you. So now we move on to the last division of the Western Conference, Part One NBA Draft 2020.
Oh, God, let me put that on. Yo, you back with us, bro?
I'm back with us. Audio had a little bit of a technical issue on my end. We're back
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
Again.
We'll go ahead and edit that out, bro. We'll go ahead and
We'll
edit that
go
out.
ahead and edit that out, but we'll dive right into Memphis, man. Memphis had two picks, including with Marcus Smart, but that was a trade that was a little bit different. It's probably the day before, but we're gonna go ahead and still bring it in though, man. Gigi
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, South Carolina, the youngest prospect in the NBA draft, and he slid all the way down. What's your thoughts on that?
It doesn't surprise me because he's still very raw, and he has a certain he has like a little bit of a reputation. I feel like in the eyes of NBA GMs and scouts and guys in the basketball world. Um, and he's also very young too. He's supposed to he's like a grade. I think he reclassed like a grade higher. So as far as Memphis picking him, I really like it as far as like the player and who he is because Taylor Jenkins, I mentioned it before. Taylor Jenkins isn't afraid to give young guys minutes. Isn't afraid to throw young guys out there, especially when they have injuries and stuff like that. So I think a
That's
guy
it.
like Gigi Jackson would definitely he'll definitely um improve from being thrown out there, making the mistakes and being taught what he did wrong and stuff like that, and try to figure things out himself. And but he has a lot to be excited about. He's very versatile at six
Right,
nine, about 6'9" with I think close to 7 foot wingspan. He
right.
has good handle. He moves very well and has very good quick footwork.
Mm,
And when he's got it going, he can score, man. He can create space in the mid range. He has a nice dribble package that can create himself some space, and he has a nice little turnaround game too. And he just raises over guys, and he's able to hit shots like effortlessly. I really like his game. I really like him being in Memphis. The only one thing I question is of course, we see the whole thing going on with the whole Josh situation going on.
right.
Um, then we seen the whole Dylan Brooks thing this season. GG seems to me like in the games I watched him this season and in that Instagram live incident after a loss, that close loss they had. He seems like a guy that speaks his mind. He seems like a
Sure
guy
does.
that's expressive, but at the same time, I like it because to me, I feel like he's very competitive and very I feel like he wants to win. But but on the other hand, he's got to show that on the floor because there's times his motor dies down, especially on the defensive end, and he
Sure
gets
does.
lost and he just seems like he's out of the game. But that can also be a result of being on a garbage team. South Carolina was hot garbage this season. Being on a team like Memphis that has had minor success as a young up and coming core this season, you
Right.
bringing in a vet like Marcus Smart, which I personally really love, and even a vet to with John for John Morant, and even them two on the court together. I feel like those two, with John Morant and Marcus Smart on the court together, would be very good, and it balances out well. So Memphis has some stuff to be excited about. I really like the pick. I wish I knew who their late second round pick was. Tariq Biebervich. I
I
think he plays
can't
for
pronounce his
Fenerbahce.
name, so I'm not
Yeah,
going to.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know much about him, so I'm gonna just grade it off of the Gigi Jackson pick because that's who they're more inclined to I feel like use. I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna give it a B plus just because you're able to grab him so late and he just had the upside on him is just it's just too much to pass on. I feel like.
That's fair. And then Jordan Hawkins. We're going to go to the New Orleans Pelicans, man. And Drake picked
hmm
Jordan Hawkins with the
I called
14th
this.
pick.
I called this one last episode. This is where I had him going.
He called Angel Reese called it too, man. She called it. So shout out to Angel
Word,
Reese. She called it. That's
word.
crazy. So now they get to reunite in New Orleans, man. I love it. Excited for them. But man, I love Jordan Hawkins from UConn. One of my favorite players personally. Love watching him play and doing what he did throughout the entire season and March Madness included. I think the Pelicans got a great pick with Jordan Hawkins here, man. Just give me your thoughts on him.
Yeah, I'm real quick A plus just because I explained it a lot last episode because I had him going here at what was this 14? I had him
Yeah,
going here at 14. I just felt like it was the perfect pick. He comes in with a team with a lot of established talent. He can just come in and shoot, and the wide range he could shoot is what's going to excite the Pelicans because they can have a clunky and low rhythm offense at times that desperately needs some shooting and some electricity. So Jordan Hawkins is the perfect pick here. I'll give it an A+.
Love it. Can't wait to see him excel. With what the Pelicans roster will look vastly different by the end of next season. I mean, by the beginning of the season next year. That much we can't say. A lot of trade rumors for Zion. With Zion moves, kind of looking at CJ McCollum. Does he fit in this program? What's the direction of the program? Are they contenders? Are they potentially a rebuilding team? You can't really rebuild with Brandon Ingram. You know, he's still young, still a star
Yeah,
talent.
he's a right now type of guy. He's a guy that
Right.
got to win
So
right
it's like,
now.
what's the direction of the Pelicans? We have yet to really see. But I like the draft pick. I like what the roster is minus Zion because I'm really not counting Zion at this point. I don't think he'll be on the team. I think the Pelicans got a solid pieces around them. Can they make the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs? That is yet to be seen. But can't wait for it. So with that, we move on to Dallas. And Dallas, man, there's some risk takers. There's some risk takers, but they needed to take a risk. I love the first round, the 24th pick from Olivia Maxine Prosper from Marquette. I definitely from Marquette. Just what's your thoughts on him, man?
I honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know much about him. I haven't really seen much about him. Not even like leading up to the draft. I've just seen him in draft boards going in this area, so I can't really say.
I will say this. So you remember Dorian Finney-Smith on the Mavs?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
fits that role perfectly. I think the
Gotcha.
Mavs got a good pick.
It,
Imagine him just how I say. Imagine Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, just imagine Dorian Finney-Smith. So
okay.
he basically what Dorian Finney-Smith was for the Mavs. So I think the Mavs, but now this is where it gets interesting. They picked Derek Lively with the 12th pick, and man, they needed a rim protector, a rim
Mm-hmm.
runner, an athletic guy. How does he contribute and make contributions for Dallas Mavericks early on? Can he crack the rotation? I mean, who's really on the center and power forward list? I think Derek Lively could make, he could probably start by the 10th or 20th game. He could probably make himself out there, but who knows? Maybe the adjustment to the NBA would be a lot of, too tough for him. His body still got to develop a lot with his body. I think he's a smart enough basketball player to where he won't get lost on the defensive end guarding guys. Just depends
Mm-hmm.
on how Jason Kidd utilizes him, how he could fit in with Luka. What's your thoughts on this pick? Derek Lively.
So one, I want to give props to the Mavs because once they seen who I felt like there was a target and Taylor Hendricks go at number 9,
Yep.
I feel like they made the quick decision to trade down for Derek Lively, make that swap with OKC.
Okay.
Um, so and I like it because he brings exactly what you need with shot blocking and a paint presence, which we've been griping on that the Dallas Mavericks need. And
Right.
he brings that from day one, but at the same time, you gotta hope he can one stay out of foul trouble. You gotta
True.
hope he can keep up and not commit as many defensive miscues and
True.
just keep up with the overall like speed of the NBA game. But I also like the fact that they traded Davis Bertans to OKC in the process of this and shedded 22 mil of cap space. So what I
That's
think this allows them to do is go after another premier big like a Clint Capella, which
right.
has been in rumors, and continue building that front line. So that alone, I gotta give them like a B+, just because I still have some question marks about Derek Lively, but he addresses all the needs they had.
Derek Lively, man, he played so bad in the beginning of the season. They was comparing him to Scal from
Out this
Kentucky.
year,
Yeah, it was comparing him to Scal. Like, we got another Scal over here at Duke, though. And I'm like, ugh,
uh,
and he worked his way.
I don't think there can never be another one of him, bro. I don't mean that in a
Yeah, he
kind
was just the number two prospect, man. Oh, how I was excited for him, man. Can't tell you how much disappointed. We're not talking about this guy, though. We're talking about Derek Lively. He played really bad at the beginning of the season. Saw out a couple mock drafts. A lot of people thought, man, he'll be back another year. He definitely needs it. He's not ready for this year. Made some strides during the late in the season, especially February and March, especially ACC tournament play. And then, he kind of came onto his own. Did well in the combine, did well in the private workouts, whatever workout he had scheduled. And Dallas thought he was the guy. I mean, Taylor was originally their guy. I would think they had to be on the draft board, but He got taken at 9, like you said. So what's the next best big man outside of him? You take Derek Lively. So hey, Dallas Mavericks some risk takers. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next season. Luka been getting in the gym. My man been playing chubby his whole life. Now he's actually gonna get some muscle defining and lose some of that baby, all that. Yeah, he's really going. It's crazy. He was playing with that body type. And imagine this guy fit now. He's really gonna be unguardable. So I can't wait to see what the Mavs do, especially what Luka do this upcoming season. But man, we're gonna still stay in Texas, man. We was in California for a long time, but we're gonna still be in Texas now. We're going to Texas, and we're going to the team who I think had the second best draft, in my opinion. The Houston Rockets. Listen, I love Cam Whittemore fell all the way to 20. Now, medical concerns was really the big issue why he fell all the way down to 20. Granted, that's something to be very worrisome about. But man, Cam was a top 5 pick, man. He was a top 7 pick. You get him at 20. Please. That is such a steal.
It is. Still good.
But my issue with Houston Rockets is they have a lot of players at the 3 and 4. Someone's got to move. How are you making this work? Are you gonna trade somebody? How do you make it work with them? They got a lot of players on 3 and 4.
Well, one, I think you ditch the Usman Garuba experiment. 2, I think you find Kenyon Martin Jr. A new home and possibly acquire like some future first round picks or future picks or something like that. Because I think he's somebody that he's played very well there. He fits in well there, especially with a passing bid like Sengun. But I kind of hate watching him play with them because I feel like he wants to win so much more than the rest of them do. Like it just like shows in his demeanor and like how frustrated he gets when he's out there, and like just how invested he is. Like I could tell that he wants to win. And there was even trade rumors like beginning of the last season that he possibly wanted it out of there. So I think you move on from Kenyon Martin Jr. and that allows the space for a Cam Whitmore who you grabbed at 20 here. That's very versatile. And it's crazy because in my mock draft, we talked about we were on that topic for a long time because I actually had Cam going 4 there, and everybody else had Amen going for there, and they actually both end up going there.
Hey, worked out, man. Definitely watch the last episode, man. Definitely check it out.
And so it addressed both needs. It just addressed both needs that they had. But now, like all there's left to do is just to figure out like the dispersed minutes, like who's going to start at point guard between KBJ or men. I think you start off with KPJ maybe.
No, I'm taking the men. KPJ is not a point guard. We already established this. But they're gonna let him start because they want Amin to earn it. But I think he'll show himself in the preseason training camp, especially summer league. Yeah. He's got chances to show himself while he's the point guard of that team.
Yeah, they just have so much young talent and so much like versatility there. Like there's so many things they can do. But overall, I don't want to harp on it too much because we talked about these guys a lot in the past.
Right.
And we already talked about their fit. We already stressed their fits here and how well they both work here. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a straight up A because they got the steal of the draft at 20. A guy that was supposed to be a top 5, top 7 pick, like you said. So.
Hey, I don't disagree with you, brother. I'm right there with you with that, man. Definitely the second best team in terms of draft. It was in my top 5. And then we go to the obvious. We go to the last team in the Southwest Division. Man, the San Antonio Spurs, man. And they're easily the biggest winners of this draft. I actually love their 44th pick in the second round. City Kasigo from G League.
Yeah.
I mean, just you get a guy like Victor Wembanyama, you automatically the winner of, you're really like the number 1 winner. You think about it.
You definitely are, and I want to just because we talked about him so much too in his fit here in San Antonio, what he'll do for a team that won 22 games last season. I want to talk about his interview he had with Jay Billis in the middle of the draft, where they kind of were addressing the topic of him bulking up and improving physically to compete with bigs at the NBA level.
Yeah.
And I really like the explanation he gave in what he said as in all in all, like to keep it short, he said, I don't need to bulk up. I just need to get stronger. Whereas he
That's true.
talked about improving his core strength, his lower body strength. It doesn't necessarily mean bulking up, but just getting stronger to the point where he's
You don't
able
get
to
knocked
withstand.
around.
Yeah, he's able to withstand that punishment. But another thing he mentioned was keeping that agility. So, and that's very important for a guy that's at 7'5", whose game is so unique and who can do so many things on as far as ball handling, handling on the perimeter, driving, just putting the ball on the floor and driving at 7'5", and just being a lob threat and being who he is on the defensive end. I mean, being lean and being agile and being athletic and not really. I make this comparison. Two former Knicks right here, right? Remember Mitchell Robinson when he first came into the league, and he was skinny, but how agile and how springy he was. And after his major injury 2 years ago, he put on like 60, 70 pounds or something like that.
Right. With
And
him.
he's a lot bigger and he's able to withstand like a lot more punishment in the paint. He's still a very good rebounder. Let's not get it twisted. But he's
He
not
lost
as
agility.
he's not as agile. He's not as like quick footed. He's not as quick off the ground as
No.
he was when he was a little bit lighter. And then you got a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, who for the most part has maintained his build throughout his career.
Sure do.
He's had injury history, but we seen him play some of his best basketball when he left Dallas and went to the Washington Wizards, where he could really showcase his skills. At 7'3", he's close to Wemby size, and he has a lot of similarities to his game too, as what like as far as being able to put the ball on the floor, create his own jump shot, fadeaways, three ball stuff like that. So I think Wemby's talking about more so going a Kristaps route as far as like getting stronger and advancing his body
That's true.
compared to like a guy like Mitchell Robinson. And it's not just clear cut like those two routes. Like I feel like it's a balance in between. But I guess I think he's gonna go like the Kristaps route.
Man,
Like I said, I like that. I like that he kind of put an end to that talk. Like everybody like he made it clear like he knows his body. He knows what's right for him.
right. You can't tell someone about their body that they know about their body the most. I'm sure he's had plenty of talks with nutritionists, trainers. Pretty sure Greg Popovich already formulated a whole plan for this guy. If not Greg Popovich, his team. He definitely seems like he has a great team around him. People that really give a damn about his well-being and just not just the basketball side, but just his health-wise and long term. I mean, listen, one thing I do want to mention, he's in the best position of any number one pick. You get to get coached by Greg Popovich. If depending, no matter how long he stays, even if it's for a year, 2 or 3, I'd like Popovich to stay for at least 2 years. Tim Duncan is there. I don't know if he's an official on the staff, but listen, you learn it from Tim Duncan,
That's the
man.
mentor, yep.
There's nothing better than that. There's
And
nothing
another
better than
good
that.
thing, and another good thing for Wemby that's like inevitably going to boost his rookie of the year odds, which is already high right now. You can't possibly win less than 22 games.
No.
If you're deferred with him and he's healthy, he gives you at least 60 games. You can't possibly
Yeah.
win less than 22 games. So, the bar is low. Like all you can go is up from there. So it's just only going to add on to what he does in the season, and the numbers that he puts up, and how he meshes with his teammates, how he elevates his teammates.
And I'm so and I'm for it. Like you don't even get like I'm so for it that it's like the potential of this guy is he's probably the best number one picking. He's better than last year. Well, I don't want to say he's better than last year's yet. We haven't seen what
Yeah,
he is.
you can't say that yet, Paulo.
Can't do that. But
Despite
in terms of
struggle at a
talent,
very
potential, and skill set, man, he's better than the 2020 first round, the first pick. Andy Edwards. I got to give him over 2019 over Zion. Definitely over DeAndre Ayton, honestly.
wait, Colin. Are you talking about them as prospects or them
His
like
prospects.
now? Okay,
Prospects.
okay.
Uh,
Well,
Hell, I
and
might even say now. I might even
that's
say
so
now.
weird. Wait, now? Okay, then. If you're gonna say now, then you're wild. Yeah.
I
How
wild
he?
it, but I
You
was
can't
talking
say he
about
better than
prospects.
Edwards now. He ain't played not one NBA game.
I was talking prospects. I was really referring to as prospects, but hey,
Okay.
man, Victor. So I don't see how he doesn't succeed. I'm bullish about the kid, man. I think he's gonna. And then you got Tony Parker as another mentor, Manu Ginobili. He had such a great team of mentor and veteranship. And this kid, the intangibles for me is what's really gonna. He'll be ahead and above most of his peers, just because of who you're learning under at the end of the day. So, Kyrie, you think it's an A? I love it.
It's definitely an A.
San Antonio, most of the Texas teams definitely did their thing. Most of the teams in the West did their thing in our respective opinions. But, man, thanks a lot for staying in. If you made it this far for episode 116 of the Restricted Zone podcast, hopefully you guys enjoy this episode as much as we enjoy recording this episode. Honestly, we love doing NBA draft episodes. We love college basketball. Be on the lookout for that. We're going to talk about the Easter Conference. The episode will be coming out within a day or two, so be on the lookout for that. This is the Western Conference, so if you didn't know, now you know. You can check us out on all streaming platforms. I'm talking about Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, whatever streaming platform you can think of. We're on it. Overcast. We're on there, man. So definitely take some time to stream the episodes. Check us out on rss.com as well. If you aren't able to find anything streaming wise. So thanks a lot for the episode. Thanks a lot for sticking with us. We will be back with more content. Be on the lookout for that, man. All right. This is the